So, here we are. Christmas has arrived for yet another year.
Where's your Christmas spirit?
The season for hot chocolates, binge watching and binge eating. People have many different things around Christmas time that they each enjoy, but some movies remain a constant tradition for many people around the world.
Brilliant!
So let's take a bit of a closer look at what some of those movies are and why it is that we love them so much.
Just cool it, Zippy. You sit on a throne of lies.
Will Ferrell as Buddy the Elf is possibly one of the best comedy casting choices ever made, and a real sleeper hit coming from Jon Favreau.
I've always been a fan of Will Ferrell, so seeing him embody the character of Buddy the Elf, really bringing out the inner child in all of us, because we're all just big kids at heart, and the passion, the energy, the excitement for Santa. And I remember those memories of being a child, being so excited I couldn't sleep, and when I got to sleep I couldn't wait until it hit 7 AM the next morning so I could rush downstairs with my brothers and sisters and open Christmas presents up on Christmas morning.
For me, the best thing about the movie, obviously it's hilarious, it's really funny, is the picture that we paint when he's in the North Pole with all the other little elves, and it's magical, and it paints that picture that you imagined of the North Pole when you were a little kid and the elves are making the toys, and it's a lovely thing to watch with your kids, and you know, they're like awestruck at this setting of the North Pole, which is one of my favourite things about Elf.
Elf became a movie phenomenon around the world, especially here in the UK, and landing a role in Asda's supermarket TV ad. Ooh, the tofurkey's done.
How can we not talk about the scene where the announcement is made in the toy store and the manager announces that Santa's gonna be here the next day, and Buddy the Elf just shouts, "Santa! I know him!" And that is just absolutely fantastic, because the manager already thinks this guy is nuts and he doesn't need another reason, but he gets another reason to think that.
Favourite scenes in Elf for me is the one where he encounters Peter Dinklage and he calls him an angry little elf. He is a children's author, he's a very grumpy character, and that interaction between Will Ferrell and Peter Dinklage is absolutely hilarious. It's my favourite part of the movie.
Like, there's two iconic scenes for me that I could rewatch over and over again. It's the Santa announcement, the excitement he gets when he hears Santa, and of course meeting his dad, played by James Caan, may he rest in peace, and just that interaction. And that for me is probably the highlight of the whole movie, just that scene.
Elf was released in 2003, and I think it's a great Christmas film. It's a film filled with great quotes, funny moments, and an all-round entertaining time.
Filled with Christmas cheer, landing it as a spot as one of the best Christmas movies ever made.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
A show like this simply would not be complete without the two Home Alone movies. As we all know, only two exist. The epitome of a warm Christmas film that will help make you realise you do love your family after all.
What do you call every childhood dream put into a mixing bowl, throwing John Hughes and Chris Columbus in there? You get Kevin McAllister in Home Alone, and this is a dream come true for any kid who's ever thought, I want to run a muckus in my parents' house. But also a kid's nightmare coming true at the same time. But the way that Kevin McAllister deals with these robbers and the wet, sticky bandits, they have absolutely no chance in hell of getting out of this okay.
The McAllisters being a beacon of light on what not to do with your children.
Home Alone from 1990 is a brilliant film for all the family to enjoy. It's also a very unique movie, and one that's aged really well.
Now, Home Alone, you can go for 1 and 2. I mostly lean towards Home Alone 1. It's just got that feel-good factor, that family wholesome moment. Now, of course, the heart of the movie is Macaulay Culkin. Obviously, He just brings such a great element to the movie. It's one of my favorite parts of the movie is his performances. As a kid growing up, watching this kid be home alone, taking on these two robbers. One of my favorite parts of the movie is when you've got the robber going into the window next to the Christmas tree. You've got all these ornaments and things stepping up, like having Joe Pesci with his head on fire running and jumping headfirst into the snow. There's so many great elements. It's such a fun, family-oriented, charming movie that you can rewatch many times.
I love the performances in Home Alone, particularly from Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci. They really do bring a fantastic, fun energy to the film that's so enjoyable. Home Alone's an absolute classic in my book.
The first Home Alone movie to me is the best. It's my favourite. Again, it's that setting. It's the quintessential beautiful family home. I love the scene where he's watching Angels with Dirty Souls. I give you 10 seconds to get your no good yellow keister off that one.
Home Alone is easily one of my all-time favourite Christmas movies. I find this film to be clever, crafty, funny, memorable. It's universally loved and recognised no matter where you go. And you can't say this about many Christmas movies, but Home Alone has a very good sequel as well.
The second one taking everything we loved and supersizing it with Christmas in New York. Having the now sticky bandits escape to the Big Apple, taking the scale and the traps up a notch.
Home Alone 2 from 1992 I think is funnier than the original and just as memorable to me. The third act in Home Alone 2 is peak Home Alone and love the overall messaging in this film.
Home Alone 2, not often talked about, it has to be said. For me, the standout about Home Alone 2, the setting's obviously fabulous, New York, but it's Brenda Fricker as the pigeon lady, the bird woman, whatever you want to call her. That beautiful connection between Brenda Fricker's character and Kevin that's it for me in Home Alone 2. Wonderful Christmas movie.
This film being a huge part of why me and many others want to spend Christmas time in New York.
This time around, Kevin is not stuck at home, but instead he is actually in a different hotel, in a completely different place to his family. And I thought that this was a really unique twist and clever turn to the actual story. And heck, this time around, he's in a hotel using his dad's credit card. And by all means, have we ever thought, wow, imagine using your parents' card, wow, free money. Yeah, it's not free, kids.
That's it, I'm not going.
I absolutely love The Grinch. It is a staple of my household every single Christmas. There's only one name that comes to mind when you talk about this movie, and that is Jim Carrey. He is so dedicated to the role. It's painstaking how much makeup that he would sit through on a daily basis and then give such a fantastic and committed performance. It really is breathtaking to watch. It never gets old.
I just absolutely adore this movie. I've seen quite a bit of flack for this movie too. Like, not a lot of people, maybe like the younger audience, not enjoying this movie as much. But honestly, if you rewatch it, especially during the Christmas period, you get to appreciate Jim Carrey for what he brings to the table, for how he brings the Grinch to life and just makes you fall in love with the character. So I really have a great time with The Grinch, another classic Christmas movie.
A movie renowned for incredible effort that is put into the special effects and makeup, winning an Academy Award for Best Makeup and Hairstyling.
Anything with a dog in it has my thumbs up, has my seal of approval. Max the dog in this movie is fabulous. This one again is that arc of the grumpy individual, which we see in a lot of movies. It's about a discovery, it's about a person realising something and becoming their better self. And that very much is the case for The Grinch.
Jim Carrey does an excellent performance as the Grinch. He can be intimidating, funny, and very entertaining.
There's also a very strange but real relatability in the movie where you do appreciate all sides of the argument. On some hand, you agree with the Who's and you want everybody to come together and enjoy Christmas, but equally you do understand where the Grinch is coming from and why he has such a foul outlook on the world. And as you get older, funnily enough, it does become more relatable.
But it's the quote in the movie, and this probably won't be exactly right. Maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. maybe perhaps it's a little bit more. And to me, that quote sums up How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
What is it you want, Barry? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Christmas movies don't get much more classic than It's a Wonderful Life. A movie made to be watched with all of the family. And what better way to do that after stuffing our faces with Christmas dinner and sitting watching this beautiful story unfold.
It's a Wonderful Life from 1946 might be my favourite Christmas film. This movie is fantastic, mainly with Jimmy Stewart's performance as George Bailey. The film is on the longer side, but I don't think it overstays its welcome. It's a well-written and well-produced movie.
One of my all-time favourite Christmas movies. We follow George Bailey. Obviously, as the man has got to a stage in life where he's thinking about ending it all. It's actually, believe it or not, taken from the story of A Christmas Carol. It's the novella is based on the idea of what happened with Scrooge.
Much to the credit of everyone involved, the movie was actually filmed during a heatwave, making the set with all the snow and being so unnoticeable all that more impressive. Not to mention the brave souls in the suits.
The message being your life maybe isn't what you wanted it to be, what you would aspire for it to be, what you think it should be, but your life has value. And as long as you have friends in life, your life has value. You're contributing to other people's lives. It's making people realise that integrity, loyalty, perseverance, camaraderie, friendship are the important things in life. It is a big favourite of mine. I'll tell you actually how much of a big favourite of mine it is. So there's a little angel going on here. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings, which is a beautiful message at the end of this movie.
If you stop and think of a Christmas that's gone wrong, this film may very well be the first thing that comes to your head.
The cast and the family elements really does remind me of me growing up and also me as like an adult. Chevy Chase as Clark kind of has that familiar beat as me, for example, when it comes to like wanting to have like a fun, enjoyable Christmas vacation, Christmas holiday, Christmas Day.
Christmas Vacation from 1989. I think it's a fun movie, very enjoyable, and just the right length. This movie is very wholesome, which is what you want to see with a Christmas film.
The things that happen throughout the movie, going from just getting a Christmas tree to the Christmas lights to the eating and the cat being burnt, like the squirrel arriving in the house. There's just a lot of great fun elements to be had with this.
The absolute absurdity and craziness of it all is just what makes this movie so funny. And although each of us can get on everyone's nerves, by the end of the day, we all love each other. So although there is so many more movies that could be put on this list, many of which are not mentioned here, make sure you do leave your favourite Christmas movies that aren't on this list down in the comments. And until next time, happy holidays.